right, everyone. Welcome into another wonderful episode of Facts Not Feelings Friday. We are here with the amazing and awesome Candice Lowe. And she is, we're just going to say, for all intents and purposes, she is a digital automotive expert. She also has her own channel, which is the SoCal Car Gal. Got to say that one a few times before I screwed it up,
Yeah.
but I'm sure somehow I got that all in one take, which is kind of quite amazing. Offline, I think I said like, what, 10 times before I got it correct. Candice is, as anyone we've heard on this show, is just a wealth of knowledge. Candice and I have known each other for a long time, and she comes with just a resume. Candice, you've been in the industry for what, 20 years?
I'm going into my 26th year. This is my 26th year in the automotive on whatever side I've been on.
Whatever. So pretty much she sat in every chair there is in which there is to sit. So if you ever have a question about anything, Candice is your girl at this point. I mean, she's your gal. She knows literally a little bit of everything. I mean, we've had more stories about helping a green pea, whether it's, hey, I've got a question about social lead management, a topic about literally about anything. She is there to assist dealers and to make this industry a better place, which this show, Facts Not Feelings, at the end of the day, it really is about leaving this industry better than we found it. And I know Candice is 110% in on that. Today we're covering a couple different topics. And Candice, I know that your passion, at least two of them for sure, are lead management and social, and some of the common pitfalls and things that you've seen. You've been doing this for a minute, to say the least, and you've seen some good things, you've seen some bad things, you've seen some things that, hey, dealers, let me help you out in this way. So I'm just going to turn the floor over to you and to see some of the things that you've seen throughout your time and ways just to help some dealerships out there.
So with the lead management, I that's 13 years selling cars, and like you said, in most of the seats in the house. So I've seen and I've done what not to do. So I can tell you what doesn't work because I tried it. But on this side of the consulting side of it, going into my 12th year now, it definitely it is taught me a lot of things in order to be able to craft the right kind of response for the right kind of dealership, because what works in California doesn't necessarily work in Hawaii or in New Mexico. So you really have to find the right formula for that particular geography and that particular brand, because a motivator for someone who's looking at a BMW isn't the same motivator for someone who's looking at a Honda or a Nissan. They're different buying motivators. But I think the one common theme on all of them is it has to be personalized.
Yes.
Your follow-up has to be specific and personalized. Take your email templates and throw them in the trash, and hire people who can actually craft an email, who can actually speak eloquently on the phone. You can't teach a passion for the customer service and the help and stuff like that. You either have it or you don't. You can teach product knowledge. Like, I'm a firm believer, like, product knowledge is just, that's easy one. The hard thing is to actually have that kind of customer service mindset where you're trying to do the best thing for that customer at that point in time. Because we've all been, if you've been in this business as long as I've had, you've seen where we just want to sell them this one car right now, and maybe they'll come back, I don't know, for service, possibly, maybe not, who cares? Right now, we're in a very unique kind of world where the loyalty is key. Like, you have to earn that business, not just today, but also for the 8 to 10 car deals or cars they're going to purchase. And every 3 months, they're going to service their car over their lifetime. So that has become my kind of goal with the dealership. Is the first thing I ask when I sit down with a sales manager, internet director, is, okay, what's your strategy here? Because I'm looking at your follow-up and you have templates and you have scripts. What's your strategy here? And they can't voice what their strategy is. So the first thing to do is set up your strategy. What is your goal for your sales department? What do you want them to do? You just want to sell a car? Okay, well, that's great. How about we sell that person 8 to 10 cars in their lifetime, and we craft our customer experience around that. So I'm really pushing dealerships to think outside the box with that regard, because it's no longer, people on a weekend going to 3 different car dealerships and spending 4 hours a day at it's no longer like that. People can shop 150 cars in a 500-mile radius in their underwear at 3 a.m. So they know what the prices are. They know what your lot looks like, what your inventory looks like. So creating that custom experience and pushing things like video chats, FaceTime, things like that are really pushing dealerships outside of their comfort zone and pushing them to next level on the customer experience. And the same goes for social media. I mean, it has to be a personalized local experience for them. So I have far too many stores still now that they're just either running the tier 1, automated posting on their social media and thinking that, oh, well, I'm posting. Okay, well, the last 6 months of posts, you've had 2 people who liked them and they work for you.
Yes. Yes. And how many people do you actually have following you? And you have 2 likes. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. So the goal isn't to get them just to follow you and think you're checking that box for good. Because most dealerships are like, well, I have, 1,500 people following me, or I have 3,000 people following me. And I'm like, great. What does your last 6 posts look like? What's the engagement on them? And it's usually 0. And they'll post their commercials. Oh, we just shot a great commercial. Do you know that I pay an extra $1 a month to Hulu so I don't have to see ads? Do you know that I haven't had cable in, what year is it? 7 years?
You're right.
I don't even know.
Whatever streaming started.
I am in a hotel, and if I turn the TV on, I see a commercial. I'm like, wow, that's a commercial. What is
this
that?
back in newspaper age? What is this right now? I don't know what this phenomenon is.
I don't have that on my regular TV. That's what I'm thinking. So to post that on your YouTube channel, your Instagram or whatever, and think that, oh, well, I'm posting my commercials. It's just, you're checking a box, you're calling it in, you're phoning that effort in, and it's not going to work anymore. Back in the 80s, even in the early 2000s, phoning in the effort for a customer would kind of work. Okay. It doesn't work anymore, especially with this next generation that's coming up that has all the buying power, the millennials. Dude, this is their life. This is 3 inches from their face at any given moment during the day. So if
they can't have a conversation because they're looking at this damn thing all the time.
So if you're not utilizing FaceTime, utilizing video chat, utilizing your social media in an effort to engage. I mean, I have a dealership who does social very, very well. They have 15,000 followers on their social media, on their Facebook and Instagram pages. They get 60 to 100 to 500 likes, shares, and comments on each one of their posts. They spent their marketing money and bought a taco truck and wrapped it with dealership stuff. And they go out to charity events with a taco truck. That's what they spent $12,000 on. And that was 3 months ago. It's already returning. They've paid that off and they're already returning on the engagement level. So the outside the box thinking like that, that's what's going to take dealerships into the next, 15, 20 years.
So last week we had Sarah from PCG on the show, and she brought about TikTok. So, and how auto dealerships are starting to get into it. Do we have any dealerships right now that are using TikTok?
So I follow a couple of salespeople and dealerships on TikTok. What I'm seeing is probably gets the most engagement are the customer service ones, where they're talking about, silly customer service things like, and they don't post they'll post what the car is, but not like the VIN or the license plate or something like that. But one guy posted in, I think it was in Vermont or something like that. It was a dinky dealership. I'm trying to remember what they sold. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Posted inside the car, had a bunch of green balls. A squirrel had used the car for nut storage for winter. And so the entire engine compartment was full with green unripe walnuts.
No way.
They posted this video. Do you want to know how many people liked and shared this video?
It's got to be
361,000 people liked and shared this video. There's another kid. His name is Mopar Brody. He has like 3 million followers on TikTok.
I actually know the name. Yeah.
His posts sometimes are a little, over the line, but you can't deny this is a real rural dealer in Indiana. I mean, a Dodge dealer in Indiana. He's got 2 million followers. I mean, come on.
Oh my God, man.
And he just does. And like I said, all of his videos aren't for everybody, but they're funny and they get engagement. So, I mean, the ones that are doing it That way I see with way more engagement rather than just, regurgitating a commercial or they're talking about local stuff like, oh, squirrels putting walnuts in a car. I'm in Arizona. Like that doesn't apply to me. Did I watch it 3 times? Oh yeah, I watched it 3 times and I shared it actually 6. So that's what I'm talking about. Getting that exposure, getting local, getting personal, utilizing those situations we see every day. So I didn't know that was an issue. Squirrels put nuts in cars. What the heck? It's funny. It's relatable. It's shareable. Mopar Brody is the same thing. Some of the stuff he talks about, that Dodge culture, he talks about Mopar, the Dodge loyalists. They love Mopar. They love Dodge. They love the fast cars, the Scat Pack and the Challenger, the Demon, the Hellcat, all this stuff comes with a culture around it, right? He speaks to that culture. And that's exactly what he's really personalizing that whole engagement experience. And it's working. So any advice I could give to anybody starting out in TikTok, look around at your local, look at your team, look at your sales team. Everybody's stores has a personality on their sales team. Utilize them. I've got a store in Chandler that in the middle, when the pandemic first hit and they closed the dealerships down, he literally sat outside the dealership with a boombox, like Say Anything, and played Still Missing You by John Waite. That video, 3,000 likes and shares. They don't have 3,000 people following them on social media, but that Instagram video got liked and shared so many times. That's what I'm talking about. It's relatable. It's funny. I mean, that's what dealerships need to do is step outside. The walk around on the cars. I get it. I get why you're doing it. That's good for a one-to-one interaction. It's really is. Hey, John, here's the video. Here's the car we were looking at. I'm going to show you a video. Here's the tire tread. That's good for one-to-one. But for just a general, it's like an email blast, right? You're not really speaking to one person by doing a walk around on one video. So your return on investment is going to be a lot lower. So, everyone thinks 1%, if I do an email blast to my 22,000 people and I get 1% open rate. Oh, good. That's awesome.
Stop blasting 22,000 people. First off, that's a whole other situation. Yeah. Stop doing it. You're going to get blacklisted.
Yes, stop doing email blasts. Exactly. It's this exactly same effect. You're doing a blanket. That's just not really going to work the way you think it's going to work. So I'm really big on get personal, get local, customize, and on your, not only, but your social media too. So for TikTok, same thing. And your truncated timetable that you have, you're better off being funny than informative, in my opinion. I think you get more likes and shares. That's what I see.
Well, I think, and not 100% agree. And I also, what you see, and I think I see it a lot in our industry where we're too focused on talking at our audience versus to them. Yep. Stop talking at them. Stop shoving, selling stuff down them. Be, like you said, be funny. Stop selling
on social media. Social media doesn't have that immediate, and that's the problem I have when I'm trying to tell people that is stop selling on social media, because social media doesn't have that immediate ROI that when you're in sales, and I was guilty of it too. I want the immediate instant gratification. Social media isn't set up that way. It just isn't. So you need to stop treating it like it will give you that immediate return on investment. And that's what I see too many dealerships, the mistake, the pitfall they fall into.
Because the selling portion, you already, if you're set up correctly being the key word there, you've already got AII set up correctly, hopefully. And that's going to take care of the selling portion, which a whole other section, which you've listened last week, you would have heard Sarah on how AI works. And it's not an actual lead gen, it's branding, blah, blah, blah. But that's going to take care of the selling portion. So what you're posting, once again, don't talk at your audience, talk with them, have it be interactive. Ask if you're making it funny, if there's something informative you're doing, hey, the new whatever model's out, if you're doing some type of unveiling of it, ask questions about it. Hey, what are you excited about? Hey, talk about this. Hey, have you done the registration for it? Whatever it might be, but interact with the customers. And then when someone does leave a comment, please respond, because if you just leave it out there and are not responding, you're telling Facebook, in essence, we don't care about these customers and we don't care about these comments. And I think I see that so, well, I do. And I think I know I've seen this so often, whereas in industry, not just us, but in general, a lot of people just don't respond to people. We're like, hey, thanks for interacting with this. Screw you. We're not going to respond back to you.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what, an easy win on social media, if you don't even know where to start, and I've been utilizing this over the past probably, I would say 6 months, and it's actually done really well, is start with frequently asked questions. Go to your salespeople, go to your service advisors, go to your finance, and ask them, what are the top 10 questions that you, or top 5 questions you get on a daily basis that you're tired of answering. So what's the difference between synthetic oil and standard oil? Do I really need to change my tires? What do bad brake pads look like? There's tons of FAQs that you can actually post a video about on your social media. You can use it as a role play with another salesman. Hey, do I really need to get my brakes changed? Well, your brakes look like this, and here's what a brake actually pad is supposed to look like. So yeah, you need to change your brake pad. You can make them fun. You can make it interactive. But if you start with your team that you have there and just get a list of frequently asked questions, I mean, even for a small dealership, you'll have 50 different questions with answers that you can post, and you have content built in right there. And with the way voice search is going, provided you have them tagged right, I mean, that could be integral in providing some free SEO for your store as well. So,
yep. And what I have found as well, and I'm sure you see this as well, is that you'll have the initial reluctance. Well, I don't want to be on camera. I don't want to be on camera. And then the person that goes on camera will be, all of a sudden they start seeing all these likes and start seeing the engagement. And oh, I want to work with little Billy because I saw Billy on TV, or not on TV. I saw Billy on social media. Well, wait. Well, Billy got all these customers. Now everyone wants to come into service to see Billy. Well, I want to go next, Brooke. I want to go next. And so then it starts spiraling because they start seeing that, hey,
it's a real person I can connect with. Yep.
Yes. You take down that wall and make, all of a sudden it's a humanized experience in the auto industry, because we all know the stat that everyone thinks that we're the shady industry next to lawyers in Congress, that they don't want to deal with us. And it's like, oh, wait a second. You're a real person.
Yeah.
You're a real boy. Like we're real people now. And so it just makes such a difference when you can all of a sudden say, this is a real person. This is who we are. Put a name to the face and a face to the name.
We did instead of doing employee of the month, we did pet of the month at one of my stores. So employees posted pictures of their pets, and then the followers actually voted on the best one. And then that they got to talk about their pet. You know, my pet is, you know, my tortoise is 2 years old and his name is Joey, and I've only had him for you know what I mean? You get to talk about it, and people love talking about their pets. It's what did I hear this morning? It's like a $35 billion industry or some crazy thing like that. People love talking about their pets. They love stuff to do with their pets. So adoption drives at a dealership, show a car that you know that you can outfit to actually hold dogs, or, you know, pull horses or something like that. That's another really easy thing to do on social media. So different.
Remember we did one with it was a Nissan store, and there was going back to pets, is that we made sure that we had all the little pet things associated. We did an entire segment just based on, here's the pet, was a dog harness, and here's a dog this, and just to make sure that, yes, we're selling the vehicle, but you're doing it in such a way that it's pet friendly, because like you said, $35 billion industry, and just you're tailoring it such that you're showing, you're once again, you're humanizing the whole experience, but it makes such a difference. What are some other things? So we've got humanizing experience, your TikTok, we talked a little bit about that. Other like little wins of how, other ways to maybe get started. Hey, I've never done anything social wise. You run into some maybe old school mentality of, oh, we don't do social here. We only want to use newspaper still.
That's, you know, I still see it. Well, what if we just ran a Sunday ad? What year is it in your store? Like, does the time continuum not work in your store? Do you have a DeLorean? I want to see it. I mean, I've literally had these conversations with GMs. Like, that's just, let's not, let's use the $35,000 or whatever you're going to spend on the Sunday paper a little more effectively and figure out how to make that work for you. It's definitely part of the vernacular still with some of the GMs I have, but instead of using it that way, as a key win kind of off of is the Google business profile now. So a lot of dealerships are phoning it in on that. They don't have the optimization set up. They're not using Google Cars for Sale. They're not using questions and answers or business posts properly. So I actually had a situation with a group of stores where they didn't see the benefit at optimizing or utilizing their Google business profiles at all. So for 5 stores, 3 profiles each for sales, service, and parts. And none of it was, and they weren't unsuccessful. They were doing reasonably well, but we couldn't see. So I said, okay, we've been doing it your way for a couple of months. Let's do it my way for a couple of months. And if we don't like it, we'll switch it back. I'll help you do it. I will do it for you, whatever happens. And what's the expected gain? What's the goal? And I said, let's make a goal of 50% gain on engagement. The number of people who go through this Google business profile to your website, engage with your store. So we extensively went through, we optimized the sales listing. We put for Google cars for sale. We put in some frequently asked questions in the questions and answer section of the Google business profile. We use the business post to our advantage, linking them back to if we're talking about a vehicle, we link them to a VDP. If we're talking about service, we link them to a service appointment. We were very specific with our CTAs, and it was extensive and it took some time. So we did a snapshot of engagement before, and we did a snapshot of engagement just recently. And the average engagement across all of them was well over 200% increase in engagement. Just from that simple, and none of this costs money. It costs time, but none of this costs additional advertising marketing spend. It just costs time. So the level of, and in some stores had a 400, 500% increase in engagement, but nobody had less than 100% increase in engagement. So we were looking at the data afterwards and they're like, well, this is awesome.
I like this.
And I'm like,
we're going to keep you.
This is really awesome. I didn't expect it to grow that much, but just those little changes like that. Now I'm a big believer in utilizing the optimization, the business post, making sure you're utilizing all the CTAs and all the optimization opportunities. I mean, what do you have? 15, I think 13 or 15, I don't remember, categories that you can post for services or products or whatever. Use them all. Use them all. And make sure you're directing people, not just to your homepage, if you're talking about a business post, but if you're talking about service specials, direct them to the service special page. If you're talking about this absolutely cool Pathfinder that you happen to have in stock, because usually when they, tires hit the dealership lot, they are already sold or they're going to be sold, but talk about that and connect them to that research page or that VDP or whatever, equate them to the relevant experience. And those are one of the free things that just not enough people are utilizing, that I really am I'm really pushing hard right now.
And Google's, I mean, it is for the time being, it's still your number one free, for the time being.
TBA,
they changed their name, and
don't give them any ideas, Brooke.
Yeah, and you can still link up inside of there and have ads inside of there, but for the time being, it's still free-ish, and it is so vital. And it's not just set it and forget it. I have to make that abundantly clear, is that you have to continually update. And if you have any type of Yext or Bright Local or anything that links up there, always pay attention, because it will just randomly just fall off, and the links will fall off, your routines will fall off. And people will go and say, well, I want to, I suggest this to be changed. And then randomly your entire phone number changes or something along those lines. So not only making sure it's optimized, but continually make sure it's optimized. Are you updating videos? Are you answering reviews? Are you adding photos? There have been times when I'm helping other stores optimize this, where you've done the exact same, optimize all of the stores that you have for a group, and then one store just randomly plummets. It's like, well, what's going wrong? What's different? And you have to add, more of XYZ or something to get it back where it is. So it's so vital and crucial, and every other synonym you want to throw in at this point, of the necessity of Google business profile and what it does to bring traffic there. If you have your Google Analytics set up correctly, go in there and look and see what your number one traffic is, what your number two traffic is.
In the top three.
It's 100%. If it's not, then you've got something.
If it's not, you're doing it wrong.
You got it wrong, and you've got it tagged wrong. 100%.
Yes.
100% incorrect and incorrectly done. So, yeah, and I love hearing stories like that and success stories like that, because going back to facts, not feelings, is factual. Here's what happened. Here's what it was. Here's what it wasn't. You took the feelings out of it and said, let's just look. And I also love when you've given someone, provided a person an option and said, hey, this is how you were doing it. Let's just try it this way. If it doesn't work, no problem. We'll happily go back to the way it was. And let's say it didn't work out. No problem. You've taken your ego out of it and said, no problem. I'm happy to go back. And then let's say
I'll go back and change it. I do that 100% of the time.
Yeah.
We've tried it your way. You're not getting the results you want. Try it my way. And if you don't like it, if it doesn't give results, I'll go back and I'll fix it and I'll change it. I gotta tell you, Brooke, I have never had to do that.
And that's the thing. And let's say that for some odd reason, it didn't work for some reason. If I'm in that position, it's like, great, you know what? I just learned something. That's great. I am not always right. Believe me, I'll be the first to say I am human. I screw up.
100%.
It's not the first time I've been wrong, and it's not the last time I'm going to be wrong.
It's
So that's great.
geography
You
based, right?
taught me something.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Yeah. It's geography based, right? So something is not 100% successful in 100% of areas. So it just, yeah, you have to roll with it. No, I'm that humble too. I'm happy to say, yeah, that didn't work out. Let's try a different idea.
100%. And it puts someone at ease to know that, hey, this person is willing to know that they're going to give me the option and provide me the option to go back if it doesn't work. And that also lets me know that they're willing to know that they can be wrong. And that's so rare. So rare.
I just find it's easier to be like, yeah, you know what? That didn't work. Yeah, let's move on from that. Let's move on and find a different strategy for success there for you if that didn't work. And most of the time, I got to tell you, that's with like lead management follow-up tactics. So
I was just going to go there.
Yeah, it's very specific. It's very regional. So I had one dealership tell me that, well, we are asking for the phone call on the first email instead of asking for the test drive, and we're just not getting the engagement we want. And so I'm like, okay, well, let's try something else. And we tried a different way of positioning it. What I had come to find out after about 3 different times we changed it is he really wasn't doing that. He was just keeping what he had in there. He wasn't doing what I was saying at all, and just tell me it wasn't working. So because I actually took the time and I went, well, what is he saying? And I mystery shopped him, not the store, because he would pass it off to one of his guys and no, say what she's saying, because she told me she's mystery shopping us. So I didn't tell him I was mystery shopping. And I had him respond to me. He wasn't saying it.
And going back to geography, so there are so many different ways that you can, there's so many different avenues we can get to the right answer, right? And get to the finish line. So there are many different ways we can do this. How you set up your website. There are wrong ways. I'm just going to call it, there are wrong ways to set up your website. There are wrong ways to interact with the customer, 100%. There are many, many right ways. So going back to strategy, how you set up, how do you want to go about doing this? How do you want to set up your website? How do you blah, 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 blah. What do you want your CTAs to say? But going back to what is your strategy and what is your process? So once that interaction happens on the website and comes into the dealership, how is that interaction going to happen? So there are so many different ways how this can work, and geographically that does make a difference as well. So going through and saying, does this work? Does it not work? Well, great. Let's talk this out. What works? What doesn't work? If you're going to do video chat, do you have the bandwidth for that to actually happen? Maybe there's spot
tools, not just the bandwidth, but the tools, a proper video tool that interacts with your CRM and links in the videos. And it's much more than just, hey, I'm just going to pop open my phone and do a FaceTime. No, that's not going to work, dude.
And I'm all about making the dealership and the website conversational. I go back to multiple stores. They're like, well, we're going to do that. I'm like, great. Think that through for a hot second though. Yeah. And I had this conversation in a recent episode. And so I know I'm repeating myself, but going back to, that's wonderful. You want to do that. Who's answering the chats though? Yes. Because if you're relying on a chat agency, that's not going to work. And if you're relying on the BDC, or you're relying on a salesperson,
that's not going to work.
Yeah. So that's great. You want to do it, but what is your strategy and what is your process?
How are you setting this up for success?
Exactly. Okay. So maybe we don't want to do that. Okay. So are you doing a form? Because that's a god awful idea. Yeah. So don't do forms. Okay. Well, we're going to interact with our retailing tool. Okay. So just walk it through. What is your strategy? How are you doing it? And what's the best way for success for your dealership and your clients and your consumers? So going through that a little bit, what are some things that you've seen on I'll say daily basis at this point? You work with a lot of dealerships. What have you seen, and what are some pitfalls that you see?
Just what we were talking about, just setting, clicking the easy button and setting an automatic pilot, and, not teaching their team. I've got a lot of stores that have a lot of younger, new salespeople coming up, and the sales managers, that are in my age box, they're just like, well, we got taught by, getting yelled at and all this. I'm like, hell, that's not going to work with them. That's not going to motivate them. So how are you motivating them? How are you training them? And I go into stores all the time that and I ask and they're like, well, we have regular, we have Friday sessions where we do training. So we do training. Okay. And then I talk to the salespeople and they're like, wow, this is awesome. Nobody taught us the different lead types. Nobody taught you the different lead types. That's like the first thing they should teach you before you even answer a lead.
You should never even be able to touch a lead until you know the difference.
Yeah. So I don't just ask the GM or the DP. I do ask them, but I don't only ask them. Like I ask all the way across the board, everybody, what do you think the follow-up process is? What do you think they should be saying, or what should they be saying? What have you said you want them to be saying on the lead follow-up? And that's 9 times out of 10, not what happened. Not as what, that's just not what happened. If they're in one store, maybe there's a better chance of that happening because it's easier to, check one store and review one store. But if it's multiple stores, that's not happening. It's just not. So that ongoing training is vitally important. So if you have a Nissan store, you're supremely lucky because you can pull the DMC in and ask them to help you out with that training. But if you're not, you're going to have to provide that ongoing training because this is ever evolving. I've heard that all my career in the car business, the only constant in the car business is change. We're constantly evolving. I remember when I first started selling cars, and I had the 3x5 cards, and I was handed the phone book to start doing cold calls, and nowadays I tell people that, and they're like, the phone book? I've got
Rolodex? What the hell is that?
Data mining list with equity mining, and I'm like, wonderful for you. That wasn't the way that I grew up. So we had to hustle. We had to hustle to actually make our paycheck. There's a lot of kids doing the business now that they're handed all these tools, but no one teaches them how to successfully use them. So they're really just, out of survival, trying to figure it out themselves. So ongoing training for your team. Now, it's not the training when they first come in, like, oh, this is your computer and that's your phone number. Good luck. It's not, it's ongoing training. Yeah. And if you don't know what that looks like, you need to ask an industry expert what that looks like. You need to get involved and watch videos and listen to experts and bring people into the store to figure out a strategy and a plan to make your store successful. That output of money that you're going to have for that will absolutely return itself again and again and again when the efforts from your salespeople shows in your bottom line. So ongoing training, I think that's the biggest pitfall a lot of the stores fall into, is they just don't provide that ongoing training for their sales team, and they just hope they can survive and keep their head above water, and end up having turnover because nobody knows what they're doing. And I've been to stores where the salespeople have been there 3, 5, 6 years and are still winging it. I had one guy that was posting videos with like different animated things on his shoulder to the customers. And I'm like, does that work? And he goes, well, people remember me. I'm like, oh, I bet they remember you, but does it help you sell cars? And, oh yeah, it helps me sell cars. But when I look at the board and I look at his last 6 months, he's an average salesperson. He's an 8 to 10, maybe once in a while, 13 car month salesperson. I'm like, what if I could turn you into a 15 to 20 car salesperson, and let's just make some tweaks and keep it a little bit less casual and a little more professional. And so that's what we're in the process of doing right now. And he's already seeing the gains on it. So he's already seeing referrals come in, and he's already seeing that kind of stuff. So just little tweaks like that I think I just don't think we're doing. I think we're just hoping, maybe Jedi mind trick that they actually know how to sell cars or something. I don't know what they're hoping for, but that seems to be the process that I would give you an advice. I would give any dealership advice for is more training, more help, more less adversarial between the sales desk and your sales team, and more cooperative and working together.
100% yes. And when the customer submits, however they submit, and we can go into hours about how the lead comes in and whatever, and the consumer, I think that because going back to training, how many times that you and I have sat across from someone and said, are you reading the lead? And you've heard me preach on this a gazillion times. Read the freaking, and this is Brooke editing and cleaning her language up just a little bit, but read the freaking lead, dude. It just drives me crazy because, well, I didn't add price. I didn't say, I can't say it, or we're not allowed to provide it, or whatever the bullshit excuse is.
You succeed in doing by not providing price is removing yourself from the consideration set, because the 3 other dealerships they did shop are including price.
Yes.
So if you think you're one-upping them, or what, they know what the price is. Listen, this is what I tell my stores. You have to treat a question from an internet customer like a question from your wife or your mother. They're not looking to you for the answer. They're just looking to see if you're going to lie to them. They know the answer. They're
Yep.
just looking to see if you're going to lie to them. So if you treat it in that manner and you're upfront in your transparency, there was just a study we were talking about earlier, a study done
Mhm.
that providing price transparency increases sales profit by 20%. So
Mhm.
they know you're a for-profit business. They didn't walk into a dealership that said UNICEF, sales, the car sales. They get
Yes.
it. But most of them, just by being transparent with that process, it might be unexpected, but at least they know, and then they can make a decision from there. And then you're not only helping them that one day with that one car, but by being transparent, honest up front for the whole process, you're going to keep that long game, selling them every car they buy for the next 8 to 10 cars that they buy in their lifetime. So instead of, oh crap, we got to buy a car. No, we're going to call Candice over at the dealership and she's going to get us a car. It's going to be quick and easy and we're going to be done. That's how we need to evolve our thinking.
Yeah. And because we are in an industry, and I know you and I were talking about this a little bit earlier, and you brought up a very great story, and that our industry is such that people don't know. And because of that transparency, they just think that, oh, your cards are jacked up so high, you're making $1,000 profit on us. No, we're not. No, we are not. And because of that price trend, when you bring that down, take down that wall and say, here it is, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, you choose. And you will make a greater profit when you are transparent with the customer. It makes such a difference to them. Just stop lying to the customer. I had a friend that I can't take credit for this statement, but he just said, price the cars you want to sell. Plain and simple.
I tell my grandson all the time, only brush the teeth that you want to keep. So price the cars that you would like to sell.
Yeah.
Same type of attitude. Yep.
And so when you as a BDC or however you have your setup at your store, when that an initial, I don't know what do you want to call it, lead interaction comes into your store and you see it and you choose not to answer the lead for whatever, or answer the price question, whatever the reason is. Well, they didn't ask for price. Yes, they did. Just because it's not stated in there, the problem with that thinking is, especially on a third party lead, is that you don't know the process, whether you were never taught it or you just don't know, or you do know and you refuse to understand, is that the consumer has been through 15 different windows that say, hey, get your best price. Dealership ABC is going to give you the best price. Here's why you get the best price. Here's why you're going to get the best price. So they have just been bombarded with price.
And we don't give them a price.
You don't give them a price. So why, as a consumer, would I ever want to do business with you? Now I'm so frustrated. I've just been hit with 15 different things, not to mention on a third party site. Your lead is going to 7 different stores anyways. Now you don't provide price, and the other 6 dealerships do. Where am I going to do business? Yeah. One of the other 6 stores. I'm not going to do business with you.
I also encourage my owners and my general managers to mystery shop their own store. Go through the process on your website of submitting a lead, because of what you just said. A lot of them don't even know what the CTAs say. They don't know what what was on their vehicle details page, what the click tag. They don't know what it says. No idea. And probably 90% of them say, get today's price or get your best price or contact us for a price right now or whatever it is. So making them understand from that first initial engagement and all the way through the process, what they're showing the customer. I remember talking to a dealership that was like, well, they depended on their autoresponder. They thought their autoresponder was wonderful. It's great. We get a lot of engagement from it, whatever. And I'm like, okay, walk me through where you see, different types of things. We went to a third-party lead source that they paid. I won't mention it. They paid them. So he submitted a lead through that. They sent him an autoresponder. Then they got another autoresponder after that from the same source saying, thank you for your lead. And then one that says, someone from this dealership will reach out to you in a minute. And then his autoresponder came up. This is before the first phone call, before they ever saw it in their CRM. So I said, okay, so this customer sent in a lead and you got it. And within 5 minutes, they got 3 emails saying, hey, we'll contact you. So I did a kind of test with them. I go, okay, so if I was a customer and I walked onto your lot and 3 salesmen passed me by and said, hey, thanks for coming in, we'll be right with you, and then left. Hey, thanks for coming in, we'll be right with you, and then left. Hey, thanks. And he goes, I get it. And I'm like, you would never do that to a customer that's sitting in front of you on the lot. This is your virtual lot. This is your digital dealership, however you want to look at it. Stop doing that to customers there. And I actually did a little video series on that to prove to my customers to prove to my dealerships. I did a video where I used like, are you still interested in this car? And all that stupid check in a box crap that people do for follow-up. That's just lazy. Bullshit. That's lazy. That's the only way to do it. And only way to say it. And we did a video series where we did it where the salesman walked up to me, and my husband, God bless him, he actually was my guinea pig, walked up and said all these lines to me. Hey, are you still in the market? And then one of them walked up and yelled at me because, you know, they send him in all caps all the time.
It's all caps.
It was so
Get
funny.
back to me, please.
Exactly. And
please let me know if I'm interested.
The message across. Once people, the dealer saw, they're like, okay, I get it. That's a good point now. And I'm like, sometimes you just have to, you know, you have to be shown. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to the customer from their aspect of it. So if I slow walk the GM or the DP through what actually their customers are seeing, because a lot of time they get so bogged down in the reports and the meetings and the meetings and the meetings and the meetings and the meetings, you know, and they just forget about that one-to-one interaction. So a lot of times walking them through, let's shop your own dealership. And let's call your dealership. Let's use the chat right now. And let's see who's answering the chat right now. That one's a scary one because that could go anyway. That could result in him picking up the phone and firing people. So, but it's definitely an eye opener, and it shows them you need help here. Let me help you. So that's kind of one of the big things I do with my new dealer principals and GMs is I kind of let's walk through the process of how people get to you and how people find things and interact with you and see what I can help you fix.
John Quaddy had a quote recently that he put up there. I love Quaddy. So shout out Quaddy. We love you, Quaddy.
We love you.
We love you. I don't want to screw it up, but he said, email response are roughly the same as a coffee shop barista saying, I'll be right with you when you're fifth in line. I go, I love that.
Yeah, that's very accurate.
I go, are you going to be like, hey, I'm going to get right with it's because you're, like you said, you're not going to go on the lot and be like, hey, excuse me, what's your name, number, and phone and email address, Mr. On the lot? There's no way you're doing that. So why are we acting like we've got to just completely put these people into and pound them to death for their information? Why do you think
they weren't trained right? The salespeople weren't trained right. That's the way that people before them were training, and it's kind of like that game of telephone. The GM trained the sales managers who train the salespeople, and by the time you get salespeople, it's like, what do you mean I have to say are you still in the market? Why would I say you're still in the market? It's day 2. Like, why would I? Oh, okay, I'll say it's still in the market. You know what I mean? It's just, it gets kind of diluted.
A little bit of name dropping here. I keep throwing out people's name here. Josie John had used to work in a dealership at one point. Now he's doing what he does now. And he would always be like, I am a real person in an email. Like, hey, I'm a live person. I promise I'm a real person. Because people are so they're so normalized and numb to the fact that they're not going to hear from a real person. We were just talking earlier that our colleague right now has submitted 40 leads, 40. He's heard back from one real person.
That's insane to me. That's insane.
Everything else is an automated response. Like, just stop, slow down, take the time.
Anytime an automated response should pop up should be after hours when there's nobody to answer anything. And that's it. It should turn off at the time the first salesman walks in the building. That's it. That's just stop with the automated responses. It drives me crazy.
Slow down. People by people. The car is going to come secondary. So just slow down. Take the time to answer the consumer's question. Going back, if the price is there, they're still asking.
If they didn't post an actual question, their question is, do you have it and how much is it? That's their question.
Yes.
Because think about the amount of information that's out there right now that they can find. They might have, maybe they want to come in and test drive it because they've never driven before, and they want to see if the seats adjust. Because like for me, my husband's 6'5" almost, and I'm 5'3". So we have to have memory seats to stay married. So
same here.
Memory seats. I ain't going any further with you. So, and if it's not comfortable for him and comfortable for me, we're not going any further either. So there's things that people do want to engage with the dealership and will always want to engage with the dealership on, but getting to that point, you have to get to that. You have to get to that point where you're being transparent with all this other stuff, answering that questions about price, like you would about the color. Yes, it's red. It's $25,000. And it has memory seats and it has an upgraded sound system. Answer it like any other question. Let's stop making it so taboo to talk about it and just normalize it. Like we talk about every other option and feature on the car, and we'll eliminate that and be able to roll past it. I just think it's a better long game strategy for keeping a customer.
Well, I'm going to say it's not think it is. I mean, I'll go back to the Amazon. I mean, Amazon, let's say I'm on Amazon. If I go on Amazon and I recently had experience, I bought something on Amazon because we all are everyone shops on Amazon, and the price was there because they always are, but the delivery date said something. And then when I bought it, it changed. I've never had that happen on Amazon, and I needed it by X day and it didn't get here. And I just go, you liar, lies and propaganda. What are you doing to me, Amazon? And I just felt betrayed. I was like, but what are you doing? Amazon also has a history of not doing that. So was it this is a one-time fluke. If Amazon always did that to me, am I going to continue to shop at Amazon? No, I'm not.
Yeah.
In essence, that's what we're kind of doing right now, is that, well, we're just going to withhold this information and you're just going to guess what it is. Like, no,
I'm going to go to another dealership that actually has it posted.
Yeah. This is bullshit. Like, what are you doing to me?
Yeah.
And I was like, I've been betrayed by Amazon. What are they doing? Yeah. So it kind of took me off. I was like, what the hell is this? You can't do this, Amazon. So, but I love that you go back to your analogy of your wife and she already knows the answer. So she's just seen and tested to see, are you going to tell the truth? And if you don't tell the truth, you are screwed and you're sleeping on the couch.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
Well, the same thing with that. It's that first interaction it's like a first date. You're making your best impressions. You're trying to build a rapport. So the first email, and a lot of dealerships still do this. They send out that first email saying, hey, when can you come in for a test drive? I think that's a little forward. I think that's like on a first date, asking someone, so can we go back to my place? It's like, whoa.
Slow it down, slow your roll.
Slow it down. Instead of asking for the test drive, why don't you ask if we can talk by phone? Why don't you ask, hey, do you prefer texting? Would you mind a phone call? What's a better way to contact you other than email? Because emails, the open rate we know is really low. The reply rate's even lower. Me personally, unless it's my work email, I don't look at my personal email, but maybe once a day, maybe.
Yeah.
And I have accounts that I use for like the grocery store or radio, whatever. Yeah, you want my email address? Sure. And I never check that email. So email is really low open rate. So I try to, in the email, please reply with the best time to speak to you by phone or by text. So I give them the option in that email. Or if they haven't provided a number, or if it's a bad number, I also tell them that, hey, the number that you provided, I wasn't able to connect with you on. Do you have a better number I can contact you on? I promise I'm not going to call you without having anything to say. And then I follow through with that promise. Just like you were saying with Amazon, I don't call them and going, hey, this is Candice. Are you still on the market for that Altima? No, I don't do that. Hey, I just had a Altima come out of rental service. It is a CPO. I know you were looking at new, but would this be something you'd be interested in? Can you give me a call back and let me know? The actual personal to that person, conversation that I can have. And I'm not saying you can't use it for every Altima person in your database, but you can make it, personal to that specific model, to that specific person, and have that conversation and a little more successful engagement. Because the whole goal is to make the phone ring, and the whole goal of the phone call is to make them come into the door. So come in through the front door. So those thinking in terms of those things, with the email to drive the phone call to drive the visit, then you kind of, you strategize a little bit better about what you're saying.
It's so true. So true. I don't know if it's obviously training. That's number one. They were trained incorrectly. Yes. And outdated training. I think that two, we go back to certain surveys and certain outdated mystery shops, which you and I both know what those mystery shops were. Oh, you've got to ask for this. You got to ask for this. Well, then they built their entire process on that. Well, those are outdated stuff. The way to mystery shop someone is not, oh, I'm going to send something in and then we're going to check these boxes. No, go into the CRM, because so-and-so may be off and they're slow on this day, or they're really busy on this day. Go in and actually figure out, go into the CRM. Let's pull up the entire process and see what happens, versus let's check a box and see you've asked for this and this, because then someone's going to build an entire process based off this checklist that you did.
I'm so surprised when they do that. They do it all the time. All the time. It's like teaching kids only to pass a state regulatory test and not teaching them everything else. It's the most, it's the dumbest way. it's no long-term gains there at all. So teach the salespeople to personal, custom content to that consumer strategy follow-up, or the follow-up strategy to be to that consumer, speaking directly one-to-one on that. So I used to teach, to this point, I used to teach that 100, 120, maybe that's about average for a salesperson. Now I teach 80 to 100 leads per salesperson per month.
I never go over 100 just because of that. Exactly.
Yeah, at the most. And for the newer salespeople, I teach 60 to 80 is about the sweet spot, because these conversations take a little bit more time. So, and they still should be closing their 15, or more a month, but the conversations that we're having to have now definitely take more time. So you have to respect that in the process. So I find it starts there with the assigning of leads and trickle down. So that's kind of where when I go into a store, that's probably the first thing I look at, because if that's broken, it doesn't matter how wonderful we make the marketing or the website or anything else. It falls apart when they come in the front door, when they call the dealership. Then what's the point of all that?
And I find that two things here. One, well, we want more leads. Well, one, let's stop and pump those brakes right quick for a lot of reasons. One, how many reps do you have right now? Can they even handle that? Number two, what is happening with what you have right now?
Yes.
Why
do you think it's not working? Tell me why you think it's not working. Yeah,
exactly.
Because a lot of times what they're looking at is like, okay, I get it, but that's not what you should be looking at.
Exactly. So is the traffic sucks? I mean, because you and I both know, there are certain, I'll say, mandated providers, certain OEMs kind of have to have, or they have a red check mark next to their name. Now, is that traffic great? No, it's not, but they kind of have to have it. So when you say you want more leads, why is it you want more leads? And why are you going with the provider? Let's actually investigate and see why the traffic isn't working. Is it the traffic really sucks, or is it in-house? You just don't have enough reps. They're not handling it correctly. Yeah. What's the real reason? Because you can go out, personally, I will take the 1,000 leads, or, the 500 leads that I'm closing 80% of that, which we all know that's never going to happen. But if we did that, versus having 10,000 leads that I'm closing 2% of that.
Yeah, I tell stores all the time, drill down if you're having a problem with your in-store follow-up processes, dial back your leads. And if you did nothing else but dial back your leads, they'll naturally get better at follow-up, out of survival. But dialing down the leads and then providing training is the system to go with there. But yeah, dialing back the leads is never, here's a perfect example. So I had a store where I had worked with the store, worked great with the store, worked with everybody at the store except for one sales rep. And he would regularly sell maybe 15, maybe 20 cars a month. So he was considered a good salesperson, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I kind of let him run because he was 15, 20 cars a month. And this is when I developed look at the strategy, look at the math, look at the data. So to sell 15, 20 cars a month, he was burning through on average 300 plus leads, 300 to 400 sometimes leads a month, one salesperson. So he was picking up the low hanging fruit.
Yeah. Cherry picking like crazy.
We literally cut him, didn't say anything. We cut him to 120 leads a month. He was furious. Why am I not getting these leads? Why am I not doing that? And I sat in the meeting with him and he was just not very happy about the whole thing. And I'm like, you have to follow up with the leads you have. Like, there's a lot of people in there that have responded back maybe a week or two later, and you pass them off to someone else because if they don't engage with you right now, you're not ready to sell them a car. Well, you should be able to sell 15 to 20 cars off 120 leads. Easy.
Yeah.
Based on the time you've been here for 6 years, you should be able to sell that easy. He couldn't. He was struggling to get to 10.
That is nuts.
Now he wants help. Now he wants help on how to strategize to get better at lead handling. Sometimes you have to, and I had to swallow my pride a little, I had to swallow my ego a little bit and be like, all right, let's do it. You want to do it your way? Let's do it your way, but you can do it your way and I won't bother you and you can run your own show. But when I investigated a little further and look at how many leads he's getting, and I'm like, excuse me, what?
Roll that back a little bit.
So if he was closing, so the close rate was abysmal that on his personal level, right? That's when I started tracking personal close rates for salespeople, how many leads you're getting, how many sales you're closing. And then we track it along the way, using the 50%. 50, 50, 50 as a baseline. And then we kind of build from there. So if you get 100 leads, you should have 50 contacts, 25 appointments, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So using that rule actually helped me with so many, and help my salespeople that I train too, because they can now track themselves. Okay, I've received 50 leads so far this month and I don't have 25 contacts. Okay, I need to dial back into these leads and pull out, 6 more contacts or something like that. So it's been a great tool to not only help salespeople establish a baseline, but then challenge themselves. Okay, I'm meeting the 50-50. I'm 70% on the appointment to show, but I'm falling short on the lead to appointment. So how do I fix that? And then we work specifically on that area. And that real targeted training like that, the success on that is huge. It's much more than me trying to, verbal vomit out the same training to every single store, but I'm customizing it to that salesperson at that moment. And the benefits are just, they're super happy. They come back. I've had several salespeople that I've trained personally. I've had them go on to corporate gigs with a dealer group or sales manager gigs. I love that when I see my people that I know I've trained personally and they're going on to these bigger, I just love that. That's my favorite thing in the world.
And there's such seeing it from beginning to all the way to fruition. That's I've always loved that. Before I got in the car industry, my background was in the medical field, and being able to see once an athlete was injured and watching them take the very beginning until they're back on the field, there's just something so satisfying about that. And then I love to see and hear stories like that. And the 50-50-50 rule, that's something that like you it's a great way to factually say, okay, where are we doing, where's the area of improvement? And instead of, like you said, vomiting data on someone, to say, okay, that's great that you're saying you close all these things, but you're showing this number over here on the sold, but where's all this in between? You didn't confirm, you're not actually contacting. So how are you getting to this number? This is a bullshit number. So how are you getting here?
But it goes back to what your whole thing is for the show. It's fact versus feeling. So he's selling 15, 20 cars a month. That's a good salesperson. And that's a decent, solid salesperson, right? But what does it take him to get there? Because the numbers never lie. The numbers never lie. I'm a big proponent of falling back on numbers because they don't ever lie. I can tell a nice little story from the numbers, good or bad. So I always fall back on the numbers when I'm asked to, well, what makes you say that? Well, how did you get to that? Okay, well, let's go to the data.
Yep, 100%.
Let's go to the ROI report or whatever.
Take the feelings out of it. This is what it's saying. You can't argue that. Yeah,
no, because there isn't. Exactly. There's no arguing it. I'm like, okay, well, that's great that he sold 15, 20 cars. He got 364 leads and he sold 17 cars last month. So basically you pay, and we worked out I don't remember what the ROI was. You paid this much, and it was like 3 times as much as they paid to sell any other car by any other salesperson. So once I had that general manager thinking in that terms of his ROI it sucks. So it costs you a lot more for him to sell a car than it is for everybody else in your dealership. So I'm not saying you need to fire him. I'm not saying that at all. He's a good car salesman. I'm saying we need to readjust his thinking on what success looks like and what his book of business looks like. That's all.
And it's just opening the eyes. And it's like you said, you don't fire the person. This is a great teaching moment. Let's figure out how we can get there. And instead of thinking in the 15 cars, man, can you imagine if you were now a 30 car? If you're a 40 car, let's get you to 50
and that's
cars.
That's how I got him involved in it. Cause he was fixed originally. We cut him and I go, wait a minute, let's stop thinking it in that manner. If you can sell 15 or 20 from this 120 leads we're getting you, and we can open it back up, you're going to sell twice that off that lead volume now. So what are you really mad at? Are you mad that you're going to sell more cars or make more money? Let me know. And he started laughing at me and I'm like, I'm just saying, dude. What are you going to be mad at? Making more money or selling more cars? I just pick one and let's go.
And it's just getting, once again, it's shifting that mindset of, hey, we've always done it this way. Well, first off, I hate that phrase. We've always done it this way. Well, great, because now you're a dinosaur. And as we go back to what you said in the very beginning, the one thing that's always constant in the auto industry is change.
When they say to me, we've always done it this way, where's your fax machine?
Yes.
First thing I say to them, where's your fax machine? Where's your dot matrix printer? Oh, we don't have those anymore because you changed? Oh, okay.
So I'm sorry, the wheels on the cars. Oh, don't work. Wheels were invented.
You don't have horses out here pulling those cars? What happened to horses?
Wait, you have electric cars, right? Oh yeah. Oh wait, electric cars have been invented? That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just shifting the
you
mindset.
Just change the way you're comfortable. We need to move you outside your comfort zone a little bit to get the kind of success and change that we're looking for here. That's all.
Yes. I love it. Candice, this has been awesome. This has been so great. Yeah. All right. Anyone that comes on the show, we got lightning round questions. Fun times. So hopefully you've had some coffee because we got some good questions for you. So,
okay.
First and foremost, what's your favorite thing to do outside of work? Your favorite hobbies, things you do to unwind?
Well, my husband and I go hiking. Because of the pandemic, we were home, doing home meetings. And so I actually I adopted a dog to get me the hell out of the house and go exercise. Because like everybody else, I gained the COVID-15 or COVID-30 for some of us, so to get me out of the house. So that's what we do. I actually started a side business as a seamstress. So sew all kinds of, it came out of necessity. It was one of my daughter's friends was having a baby, and she was having a baby on, it was due on the 13th and was going to be Friday the 13th. And they wanted kind of like a Halloween, themed whatever. I could find no baby clothes that were sewn from Halloween fabric at all, anywhere. Nobody had, outside of Halloween costumes, just like a basic cute little dress out of Halloween fabric. So I'm like, well, I have a sewing machine. I can make that. So I made one for her. Super cute, adorable. And she loved it. 4 of her friends ordered one. And then I went to a baby shower for another one of my daughter's friends. I made her a bunch of stuff, and I got 3 orders from that baby shower for people for like a stuffed bunny and a tote bag and a little dress with a onesie that had like a Halloween print on. It's like pumpkins and the letter 13 and a Ouija board, just, fun little Halloween stuff. So I created a side business out of it. And so that's kind of what I do in my free time. And that's what I've been doing is sewing. But it's really funny. So I used a lot of one side of my brain for the job I do. But for that, it's all creative. So it's completely a left brain job. So it's like winding down for me. It's work, but it's winding down for me.
That is so cool.
I love it. I have
as long as I've known you, I had no idea that there was that side. That is awesome.
Yeah. I love that. It's so much fun. And I actually got into memory bears too. So I have a girl I sewed last year 21 bears for her, and she just sent me 11 more pieces of clothing. So I'm sewing 11 more bears for her. So it's just when you have it happened randomly. Someone when I have a site and I have a, Google business, all the stuff and social media, and someone contacted me, said, if my father was in the LAPD and he got killed in the line of duty, I have some of his shirts. Could you possibly sew a memory bear? I didn't know what a memory bear was. I had no idea what a memory bear was. I looked it up.
Sure.
You have a piece of clothing and you sew it, you get a pattern. I had a bear pattern. And so I'm like, sure, I'll give it a try. I've never done it before. I was very honest with her. I said, but I'll give it a try. And I was petrified to cut into these shirts because I had 4 shirts, and it's not like I can do it again. So I'm shaking and cutting it and made them.
Don't screw up.
Exactly. And she loved them. And so this has now evolved, and I've probably made, I don't know, maybe 80 bears now that I've made for different people. So, and that's like the biggest thing and I love doing it. It's one of those, I can literally finish my day and I'll literally turn around and my entire wall back behind me is all my stuff for my other business, and I'll turn around and start sewing. So is so
cool.
Anyway, long answer, but yeah, that's been my new little
that is
project.
Awesome.
It's so much fun. I love it. I love it.
Incredible cause. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. It was, and she was the first one. I had another one whose father was a fireman, and he didn't die in the line of duty, but he was a fireman for 30 years and ended up passing away last year, COVID complications. And I've done 4 bears for her so far, but she's,
oh my goodness.
I mean, she cries every time I give her a bear. She's so nice. She's so sweet, but she gives them to, they have a big family. So she's got lots of nieces and nephews. So that's the gift she gives them as a bear from their grandfather. And she and I'll cry.
Man.
Usually her husband comes in and drops him off because she and I will cry when we see each other. Oh, it's so cute. And it's funny, but yeah, it's just I love doing it. I just love doing it. Yeah.
That is so awesome. That is definitely a way to unwind. That is for sure. What a worthy
It's
and cool cause.
completely the other side of my brain too.
Yeah.
It's all creative. It's all, cause you have to line up. Yeah. It's a whole process, but yeah, I love it. Those are the things I do.
Kudos to that, dude. Like I am not even remotely creative at all. We're currently, well, I say we, it has nothing to do with me. It's my Chris, but we're in the middle of our theater room. We're making like levels, like Seinfeld levels,
Yeah.
Jerry levels.
Yeah.
For the to put like the theater chairs will be on one, and then we have like a little sofa there. And then I collect Air Jordans, as most people know about me. But we've got like these shelves that will be like, you can't see them, like 1, 2, 3, and they're like tiered, and all my shoes will go on there. So that's like, and he's doing that, but I'm like helping with that. And I'm like, I just look at it and I go, it's just amazing how people of a creative mindset can do all this stuff. And my younger brother, he just will just, well, I'm just going to decide how to build a fireplace. I'm like, how the hell do you do this? And like, I look down and like, how are you guys? And our friend is helping him, but I'm like, how do you guys do this?
Yeah.
It's just amazing that you just took this on, and I just applaud that. It's absolutely, and then plus it's like I said, it's an incredibly worthy cause.
It's been so much fun. And I can't believe the interest I've had from the baby clothes part. And I've actually started doing, I'm experimenting. I'm still not into this. The dog beds. I've actually got all the materials for it. So I've been experimenting with dog beds and dog things too, because that's the dog bed. Think about dog beds. They're gray or they're brown or they're beige. That's it. Mm-hmm. I mean, the biggest industry, innovation we've had in the last like 50 years on dog beds is they're fluffy and they're soft. I mean, that's it. So I've been using the same type of funky fabrics and making the inside fluffy and stuff, making the outside a little bit more decorative friendly, you know what I mean, to whatever your house is. So yeah, I'm still working on that one. My first one, it's funny, my friend rescues dogs. And so any of my ones, like I made those snuffle mat things, and my dog didn't really care for them. So I gave them to her dogs. Her dogs will love them. So just stuff like that I'll, okay, this didn't work, but okay, you can have, and she loves it because she goes through dog beds, all the time. So it's just stuff like that I'm like, I love doing that. That's just interesting to figure out how it works, Yeah,
you put me in front of a sewing machine and I will 100% end up in the ER. Guaranteed it. Guaranteed. So I applaud anyone that can do that stuff.
Sticker shock on sewing machines is real. Let me just explain that right now. Sticker shock is real.
Yes, they are so rad. Yes. I looked at something. I was like, okay. And I was scrolling through and one popped up. I don't know why, because I hadn't said anything. Now that we're talking about it, it's going to show up on my phone, I'm sure. But
of course,
I was shocked. I was like, wait, how much are these things? I'll just go buy whatever it is I'm trying to buy. Like these are insane.
Yeah. My aunt does quilts. She sews quilts for various family members or charitable causes or whatever. And I went to her house in Colorado and she was showing me her sewing machine, and I'm going, it was probably 10 feet, the table around it. And the sewing machine was huge, but it was automated. You like typed in a program in a computer.
Yes.
Yeah. And I can't remember the name of it, and I'm like, well, how much was this machine? And she goes, this is about $5,000. I'm like, what? My first car didn't cost $5,000. I equate everything expensive on my first car was $800. So if it's over my first car, my mind gets blown. But yeah, the sticker shock is real on sewing machines. Let me just tell you that.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's a bit much, but hey, it's working for you. So
yeah.
Okay. Favorite vacation spot. So either you got a one-way ticket or a round trip. Where are you going?
So my husband and I spent our honeymoon in Costa Rica, which we love. We can't wait to go back. But when the pandemic hit in 2020, we were actually supposed to go spend 2 weeks in Scotland. Because my husband is part Scottish, and I had researched where there was actually an area in Scotland named after his family, and it was the Loch of Lowe, and it was we did literally a 2-week drive. We were going to go into Edinburgh or Glasgow and drive around and go out of Edinburgh, and had this whole thing to a T planned out. Pandemic hit, shut everything down. And that's our goal, is we want to do that. Probably next year, we're actually going to go to Scotland because neither of us have been, and we want to, As far as a one-way ticket, I don't know. I like traveling. I like traveling everywhere, anywhere and everywhere I haven't been. I'll go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes. All
I'm
right.
kind of open on that.
All right. All right. So facts and feelings. What's something that you are constantly or number one thing that you're trying to dispel or set between, hey, facts versus feelings and what you do?
The data on is the facts for me. Like like I said, this is 26th year in the business. We're all about data. We're all about the ROI, and we're all about the how much are we spending and how much are we getting, how much we profit on per car and the PNUR and all this stuff. We're all about the data. So the data to me equates to facts because of that time event. So if I can prove it in data, it goes beyond whatever my feelings are. Like I can tell you with this level where I'm at now with what my gut tells me, and my gut's pretty right, but if I can also back it up with that data. Yeah.
I 100% agree. It's very rare that I go in. I'm like, and like I said, if your gut's telling you something, you're going to usually be right. And then at that point, the data is going to back it up. So
100%. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So being a female in an industry that is fairly male dominant, what advice would you give to a female that is looking to get into our industry?
Be the subject matter expert, because there's no way anybody can take that away from you. They can't deny that from you. They can say, well, you're a woman, women don't do well, or whatever and I've had all of these said to me, women don't do well in this industry. You should find yourself a husband. Why are you working so hard? Be the subject matter expert. Find a product you like, learn it really well, get every single certification they offer. When I worked for BMW, I took every single course they had and got certified to be European delivery, lease end, all these things that I didn't have to get. Like European delivery accounted for maybe 2 or 3 sales a month, but nobody else at my dealership was European delivery certified. So that was definitely something bonus for me. So I definitely be the subject matter expert, know your product inside and out, get training from every single person you can get training for. Bad training, good training, it doesn't matter. You'll be able to discern the difference eventually, but get training. Find someone who's really successful and ask to shadow them and see what they do on a day-to-day. If it's a woman, even better. If it's not, that's okay. But if it's a woman, even better.
Yes.
Don't listen to the negative bullshit.
There's a lot of it.
Yeah, because especially, one of the most cutthroat places I worked, there was 40 cars salespeople at. It was a 22-acre lot. It was a Ford store. We were incredibly busy. We were a, 400 or 500 a month sales volume store. It was huge. But I had a lot of, you have to be thicker skinned. You have to be, and just don't get it caught up in the politics or the bureaucracy or the bullshit in a dealership. Just go in, learn your product, treat your customers really well. They'll be incredibly loyal to you. And there's no denying the facts of the matter. If you have really good loyalty, you have really good customer service surveys, you have really good sales records, there's no denying all that. And be successful, treat it like your own business and be successful in it, and just ignore the bullshit.
I'm hoping that for any female that is listening, that you take that to heart. I'm like ferociously.
We need more. We need more. Yes. Because in the 12 years I've done this, I have run across 2 female general managers and 1 female owner in 12 years. And I've worked with well over 150 dealerships. That's miserable.
Way too low.
Miserable. I've worked with maybe 8 desk managers that were female. That's way too low. So we need more female presence into the automotive industry. And it's funny too, on the consulting side of it, our team is 50-50 female now. And when I started, it was like there was 2 women on the team, you know what I mean? And that was it. So it's 50-50 now in female. So the corporate consulting vendor side is becoming more and more female dominated, but we need the in dealership to be a female presence as well. And it's just not there still. And I still see where I have dealerships that don't have female salespeople. And that's the first thing I asked is, where's your female salespeople? Oh, we don't have one. You need to get one. You need to find one. You need to advertise for a female salesperson. And all the people are like, whoa. And I'm like, no, trust me when I say this, I sold more cars just because people wanted to work with a woman than
That's
anything
exactly.
else.
Yep.
So get at least one at your store.
And in the, women's month right now, and Women's International, and going back to that is and this is not just because we're female and we're saying this, statistically speaking, when someone goes into a car dealership, they statistically want to work with a female more than they do a male. Everyone knows that my other half worked in a car dealership for 30 plus years. The first thing he did would be, if I could have a staff all female sales associates, I would, for exactly that same reason. 100%.
I've had people at that same dealership where there's 40 people. I mean, we would call cars when they came in. We stood on a point, and there was 5 points at this dealership because it was huge. Anytime it was a crowd, I would usually move to another point, but I would have people on a Saturday weed through the sea of salespeople. Excuse me, can you help me? Yep. Yeah, sure. And I would ask them at the end, and they're like, well, we didn't see another woman here selling cars, and we want to work with a woman. I literally half, if not more, of my sales per month in the car business have been specific just because I was a woman. That's it.
Yeah. So please, all of this it's really, really important. And if you are a woman, take pride in that. I mean, stand up, have your voice be heard. It's not always the easiest. Believe me, Candice and I know this firsthand. It is, you got to have super, super thick skin. But do not let your voice be drowned out and fade in the background. Stand up and be proud of that. And this kind of goes along with kind of what we just discussed a little bit. Advice that you'd give your younger self. We've both been in this industry for a little bit. You definitely have my beat, but just a little bit. So looking back, just a little bit. And so I always like to ask this because I think that, I know this is just something that when you look back and in hindsight is 2020, it is always good to hear wise words of wisdom.
I guess I would tell myself, don't dealership jump. And I tell people that now. And it's not because I think, my gut tells me it's a bad idea. I've done that. I've done the dealership jumping thinking, oh, well, it can't be bad like this everywhere, right? It can be better. It's not. Find a product you like. And you might have to jump once or twice to find, a good sales manager, good general manager. That's fine. That's expected. But once you find that good general manager, sales manager, owner, preferably, and you find that good product you like, stay there, stick it out and really work through it and be that expert at that store, because that'll lead to bigger and better things.
And that is so rare these days. So
it
rare
is,
to
I did it. I kept thinking, oh, it can't be that bad everywhere. Oh, I'll go work at a Highline brand at a BMW. That'll be a better work environment, right? No, it's the same. It doesn't matter if you're selling exotic pre-owned cars, Porsche, Nissan, Ford, you're going to run into the same type of people at that stores. I ran into the same guy at probably 3 different stores that I worked at in California. The one that told me that, why are you here working when you should be married at home? I ran into him in 3 different stores, 2 different brands, 3 different stores. And go away from me. Go away from me with that.
The industry is so small. And that's, I think people forget, is the industry is so small. And I just caution anyone that whether it's dealership jumping or you stay in the industry, if you're going to stay in the industry, because it is so small, do everything possible not to burn a bridge. I understand that sometimes it's impossible due to unforeseen circumstances.
But you're right. Be very careful how you say what you say, because that person could be the deciding factor at the next store that you work at.
There you may be sitting in that seat that you need that approval and check mark to get past that they're the gatekeepers. So it is a very small industry. So like Candice has said, once you find a place, if you are staying in that dealership and you're find the good manager, find the good GM, find whatever it is. If that's working for you, the grass is not always greener on the other side.
No,
so
it is not.
Find that environment and find that culture.
I can personally tell you it is not. Like, I can tell you factually from experience, it is not. That's not just my gut. It is not.
Okay, we'll wrap up on a lighter question. What is your favorite car?
So let's see. Well, my husband and I bought a 50th for his 50th anniversary, a Dodge Challenger Scat Pack, which
Oh,
yeah, we're both in love with that car. So
that's
that's my favorite
gorgeous.
car that I've owned ever. But my favorite car of all time, like probably 90% of the people in the car business, is a 71 Roadrunner. So I think that's just like a unicorn for 90% of the people in the car business is that
That's
71
gorgeous.
Roadrunner.
Yeah, well, I don't think you can go wrong with that one. So
Right?
yeah. Yeah, that is, oh, that's gorgeous. That's gorgeous.
That Scat Pack, man, oof, that thing is fun.
That is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, that's you got to have some fun times in that one, I'd imagine.
Oh yeah, that's a good road trip car.
Yeah, awesome. Candice, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for being a part of this, letting me
Absolutely.
pick your
Thank you.
brain for a little bit and sharing the knowledge. I mean, there's a lot of things that a lot of dealerships do that they room for improvement. Some are, I know that your stores, you kill it out there, and they're so lucky to have you. So yeah, everyone, if you're liking the content, let me know, subscribe, follow, let us know what you're liking. Let us also know, are you doing these things right now? Are you saying, hey, that's really good, I should be doing that? Let us know. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, it doesn't take a lot to be a good person. It doesn't take money. Just be a good person. Reach out, help someone in need. Just be a good person, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day and have a wonderful weekend.